personal manifesting favorite is manifesting trips and adventures that are filled with magic moments and memories for myself and my friends and my family. Just the other day, my friend called me up and invited me on his big race boat to see the Statue of Liberty by water and then to have dinner with the best views of the New York City skyline. I have no desire to own my own boat, but I love being on a boat, and I manifested this crazy, amazing experience to be 50 yards from Lady Liberty in the water because I love an adventure. This isn't a once in a while thing. This kind of thing happens to me all the time. Sydney, Costa Rica, Colombia, luxury tree houses in Montana, Italy, Fiji, and many more showed up in my life without any effort. I regularly have dinner with authors, athletes, and millionaires and movie stars. It blows my mind when I think back to when I was wearing work boots and driving an old beat-up work truck. Now let me introduce myself properly and explain how I discovered this formula and how it transformed my life and the lives of all my clients. Hi, my name is Croy Sather. Shortly, you'll be calling me your friend and transformation guy. And here's why. You see, my life began with a very meager start in this life. My dad was a carpenter and our family lived on a single family income. At times, my parents would go without food so that my brothers and I could eat. And we literally grew up on the wrong side of the tracks. But not far away, millionaires live with their big mansions, driving their fancy cars, taking exotic vacations. I became a carpenter like my dad, and we worked together for many of these millionaires, building pool houses bigger than our house. And I was curious, why did they have so much money? Why we always seem to struggle to get by? And so I'd ask my customers, how do I become wealthy like you? And most answered with the generic response of work hard. But my dad and I were working harder than any of them, and we were just getting by. One customer, Mr. Cronenberg, was a self-made millionaire that started from the streets too. When I asked him, how do I get wealthy? He gave me a program and said, listen to this. This will help you understand. Rich people think different. If you want to be happy and wealthy, you want to be tapped in. I didn't know what he was talking about, but this was the beginning of my journey to understand the world in a whole different way. Eventually, this would become my life's passion to understand and share something that most people are unaware it's even possible. It wasn't long that my life started to change and I began to instantly manifest amazing things. A friend of mine invited me to go to a house auction. I went out of curiosity, but I couldn't afford to buy the house for cash like the auction required. To my surprise, the house didn't sell. So I called the bank the next day. I made a deal with them and they gave me a mortgage I wasn't otherwise qualified to get. I became the owner of a Federalist Victorian with 2-story columns prestigiously set up on the hilltop. I was only 24 years old and the house was the envy of the town. A couple of months later, I bumped into a man who asked, do you know anybody who wants to buy a home? 90 minutes later, he sold me the house for no money down on a handshake. It's one of my favorite instant manifestations. Because I sold that house 1 week later and made $25,000 in profit. But I didn't know the whole formula and secret for manifesting things into my life. Sometimes I could tap in and sometimes I couldn't. So my life was a roller coaster. I hid the heartache and the pain when my life went sideways. I went from living the good life to being over $1 million upside down. My marriage fell apart and I was burnt out from working 80 hours a week. There had to be a better way. Your setbacks are a setup for a comeback. I didn't know it at the time, but the universe was preparing me, just like the universe has prepared you. I then met another mentor that would teach me the second part of effortless manifestation. Another self-made millionaire, he said to me, it's all in your subconscious mind. You're out of alignment. This is why your life has been a roller coaster. He turned me on to the power of psycho-neuro-programming. It sounded crazy at first, but he explained that this is how you tap into the power of your subconscious mind and create an amazing millionaire life. Because I was still skeptical, I feverishly sought out every bit of information I could find on psychoneuroprogramming and the subconscious mind. You must be cautious because you can manifest lots of money, but it can still leave you empty. I'm going to show you how to manifest anything you want and how to create a fulfilling and meaningful life that you love and make your journey worthwhile. I want you to keep this in mind as I tell you how my life changed. What is most important is that I followed my biggest dreams. After I explain, you'll understand why nobody else can teach you what I know. You see, my dream was to run across America. I would run a marathon a day for 100 consecutive days, from California to New York City. But there was a catch. I was just about 40 years old and I wasn't a runner. In fact, I was barely more than a couch potato. So why would I do such a monumental thing? Because my dream inspired me. And it shows what's possible when you tap into the 3 levels of your mind. Now, I don't expect you to run across America. You probably would never consider it. But what would you do if anything is possible? Would you be an artist or would you start your own business? Would you leave the job you hate for a job you love? Would you move to the beach? Would you start dating after a divorce to find your soulmate? You see, this isn't about my run across America. It's about finding your purpose and living your big dream. If a carpenter from the wrong side of the tracks can create a massive life transformation, so can you. Magic happens when you reprogram the 3 levels of your mind. The universe conspires for amazing things to happen to you. When you open up your manifestation powers and align yourself with your true north, it's like you have a secret advantage to living your dreams. But it wasn't just a run across America. Each day I also gave a speech to audiences in challenging life circumstances. People just like me, where success is a long shot. I spoke to inner city high schools, addiction centers, homeless shelters, wounded warriors, inspiring them to dream big, act boldly, and to overcome their challenges. I ran across America to make a difference. I became known as a life transformation expert. I've written several books and I speak on some of the most prestigious stages in the world. My talks have been viewed by over 1 million people and I travel the world doing what I truly love. And I want this for you, to live a life you love. While there are many so-called experts who talk about success and manifestation, I truly live it and I teach from experience. Do you think that someone who was not a runner and then ran across America in just 1 year, I might know how to tap into the unlimited power of the mind better than anyone? Totally, right? I tapped into the deepest part of my mind to run a marathon every day and to also be at the top of my game as a public speaker, for news interviews, plus running my company all at the same time. I want you to get this to help you unleash the amazing power of your mind. If I didn't learn how to tap into the 3 levels of the mind, I would still be a carpenter and the world would never have heard about me. Imagine the shame and the regret of knowing that I could have done more. The #1 regret of elderly people is, I wish I did more. I wish I lived my dreams. Don't be one of those people who never realize their potential. You have the power within you. You can tap into your greatness and live your dream life. Here's how your mind works. Did you know that only 7% of what you do is because of your conscious mind? This is level 1, your active, awake mind. This is everything within your awareness. Scientists say that 93% of what you do is because of your subconscious mind. This is level 2 of your mind. Like an iceberg, most of your programming happens below the surface in your subconscious. This is everything out of your awareness, like your habits, beliefs, and things you do without any thought. The subconscious controls most of what you do. So how do you transform your life? You reprogram your mind. Most people try to create change at the conscious level. This is using willpower, affirmations, and positive thinking. All important things to do, but this is the least effective when done alone. The conscious part of your mind is above the water, the 7%. The subconscious mind is the iceberg below the water, the 93%.